Howdy guys, I'm Aiden and welcome back to Aiden's Archive. What you're watching is part one of a series where I detail my entire process from start to finish making a video for the Blue Couch Productions channel. Odds are I'm going to post these after the video is already out, so if you want to see the final product, check the description below. But if you want to follow the step-by-steps, that's cool too. I'm going to be recording one of these videos every day for a week and hopefully have the video done by the end of the week. What video are we going to be making? Well, the idea I have in my head, and this won't be the title for the final video, but the idea I have is called How to Beat Sonic R. I think Sonic R is a beautiful game, just from its aesthetics and music and vibes. The problem is that it's really hard to get into because the gameplay presents a lot of accessibility challenges, right? Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. People play it for like 5 or 6 minutes and go, "Ugh, what the hell?" and then stop playing it. Well, I am going to make that part easy for you in this video so that you can enjoy the other stuff. And sort of what I want to do in this first video is sort of do a lot of note taking primarily. I want today just to be gathering as much information as I possibly can. And to start, I want to watch a previous video I did called I Made a Cuphead Guide in Current Year. I think a great way to make videos, especially after you've made a few, is to go back to your previous catalog and be like, I can do that better. So the Sonic R video is going to be very similar to the Cuphead video. But in order to, keep them in the same style, I need to actually go back and rewatch the Cuphead video and take notes, what I like, what I don't like, what can I improve, what do I need to keep the same, all that sort of stuff. So that's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to pull up the video here and give it a watch. What do you get when you combine Fleischer-era animation with run-and-gun platforming? You get Cuphead, one of the hardest games of 2017. With tough bosses, long stages, and a ton of items to experiment with, it can be a challenge for new players. Well, what if I told you that you, yes you, can beat Cuphead? And what if I told you how to beat it in just 10 minutes? Okay, so I'm pausing at the 31-second mark. A few things that I'm noticing already about the Cuphead video that I'm going to go ahead and write down. And these are just observations at this point. Number one, green screen. I am in front of a green screen for all my on-camera bits. I don't have to be for this video. Again, I'm just writing it down. Number two, we have gameplay in the background. The other thing, just from a pacing perspective, we're 31 seconds in and I've already detailed the whole synopsis of the video where it's like, I'm going to teach you how to beat Cuphead in 10 minutes. And the timer literally starts right as I hit 31 seconds. So I'm going to write fast start 30 seconds. And I think I could potentially do it faster. Like we might even get into the first tip within the first 30 seconds in the Sonic R video, but let's at least shoot for what the Cuphead video did. There's also a timer gimmick. I don't know if that's necessary for the Sonic R video. It's a short game, so it'll probably be under 10 minutes anyway. I don't know if I need to necessarily do that for this video. Our first tip is about maximizing your setup. In Cuphead, you can equip 2 weapons and 1 charm. Let's start with the charms. There's really only one I recommend using, and that's the smoke bomb. It reads, quote, "You will not take any damage during a dash, a great defensive maneuver." This essentially makes you invulnerable for a brief period of time, and you'll need that for attacks that feel impossible to dodge. Simply put, no other charm in the game is this helpful this often. Now, weapons are far more subjective. Okay, I'm pausing again, right at 107. So another thing about the Cuphead video is a scripted voiceover. And this is something I probably will keep. It keeps the video short, keeps things flowing, and I like it a good bit. The camera stuff doesn't necessarily have to be, but the voiceover I would like to be scripted. Then we kind of get into a little bit of the structure where it's a video is broken into 3 tips. So for Cuphead, I talk about loadout first. So it's like the your charm, and which weapons you want. Thinking about Sonic R, probably the first section here is going to be controls, not only because that's a fairly good place to start, like ground level foundational stuff, but it's also where people get tripped up the most. On the Cuphead video, the music is from the game. That absolutely will be a thing in the Sonic R video, just because the soundtrack is so damn good. Also, just in regards to loadout, I think with Sonic R, first section being about controls for sure, but then I'm thinking like characters as well. Because when I was thinking about the weapons of how they play differently, I'm like, oh, characters would be another great like opportunity. I mainly stick with Sonic, and that'll be the recommendation for the video, but potentially the other characters could be helpful. My second tip might be surprising to some, but I'm just gonna say it. You should buy the DLC. For $8, the Delicious Last Course makes the base game so much easier. There's 2 reasons for this. For one, it adds a bunch of new weapons. My personal favorite is the Crack Shot. It functions nearly identically to Chaser, but does more damage at the cost of a slower fire rate. It's by no means essential, and if you only have Chaser, that's totally fine. But if you're not a fan of it, try experimenting around. The new weapons are some of the best in the entire game. The second reason you should buy the DLC is to get Miss Chalice herself. She turns the game into easy mode. She's also available early on. Okay, pausing it at 3 minutes. This one's tough because it's a section specific to the DLC, and there's no DLC in Sonic R. So trying to think about what the second section should be would probably have to be the route we go on. Bunch of different ways you can play Sonic R, right? You could go after the emeralds, you could get the coins, you could beat the rival characters, whatever. And sort of my strategy is to break that up into easier little chunks. And this will be very short, like maybe a minute or 2 will be about routes, which then just sort of leaves the third section. In the Cuphead video, it's bosses. In this, it's there's only 4 tracks, right? So third section will be all about tracks. And I think that makes sense, right? Figure out the control and character. We talk about our game plan and route. Third section, track advice. You could maybe swap the first and second section around, but I kind of like it there. I could be writing notes about like the humor specific stuff in this Cuphead video. The problem is that was not planned, right? That just sort of happened. All right, for my last tip, I want to talk about a few specific bosses that give new players trouble. Let's start first with Aisle 1. The hardest fight here is Cagney Carnation. This boss has several attacks that are pretty ruthless. In particular, I had a rough go trying to dodge these stupid acorns. The way I got around it was by going all the way to the left of the screen, waiting for the acorns to shoot out, and then dashing over it. That seems to work most every time. When he's shooting out all these bullets, keep in mind you can actually parry the pink one before it hits the ground, meaning you don't have to deal with that stupid invulnerable enemy that shoots projectiles. When you get rid of him, this fight is a lot easier because there's fewer things to focus on. Pausing at 356. So a thing I really, really like about this video, and you see it kind of in that Cagney Carnation spot, but also I think in the King Dice fight, this sort of like drawing focus to specific gameplay elements. So I highlight the little seed guy. In the King Dice fight, I pause the screen. Dr. Calls Robot, I make part of the gameplay gray and only a little bit in color. So I'm gonna write in editing, highlight what matters. Because I'm thinking about it like in a Sonic R sense, for the track advice portion, like here's a shortcut. Here's a route you could go on. You need the emerald here, 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 and there. Just like parts of the video where you can pause the screen and write all the detail down, so I don't have to be like, okay, so in this track, you have to go to this part for the first emerald, and this part for the second, and this one for the third. Rather, mention any of those really, really hard sections, but then for the rest of them, just show an image or a map. So we can cut out a lot of explaining time and just be like, here's where the rest of the emeralds are. Here's where the rest of the coins are. I only have to mention the ones that you're likely to miss. I only have to mention the super difficult ones. As far as cutting up gameplay, you got zoom ins for emphasis. And then I'm kind of going left, right, up, and down. Moving clips in different directions help change the point or help change the conversation, right? So if I'm done talking about weapons, we can use like the clip going from one place to another off the screen, and then to start the next point, maybe it comes in from a different direction. I don't have to be doing that all the time, but for like different points in the script, absolutely. After that, use the lobber nonstop. You can hit him a bunch of times, and bam, there goes the dragon. There are actually several fights that benefit from using different weapons, and while I won't be able to talk about all of them, here they are on screen right now. So you can pause the video, take notes, and hopefully make some of these boss fights a bit quicker. Aisle 3 is interesting because the hardest fight this time is in a plane. In case you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm referring to Dr. Call's robot. When this fight starts, go immediately up to the laser and shoot at it. Then, right before it's about to fire, I'd go midway down screen, and you should be able to hit a sweet spot where both the chest and the bottom of the robot get damaged at the same time. All right, pausing at 6:10. Another thing I'm noticing too that I forgot about this video was that I recorded multiple playthroughs, which is handy because when I'm talking about like how to beat this boss or how to do this thing, I may not have followed that advice in a particular run. So then I'm like, well, shit, what do I do, right? What I did was I cut to a Miss Chalice run, or I cut to a co-op run with me and Zach. So I had like 3 runs that I could cut back and forth to and just pick the best moments. Starting with the gauntlet, did you know you can actually influence the dice rolls? If you parry instantly, right when the hands clap, you'll always get a 1. If you wait a little longer, you'll get a 2, and if you wait longer than that, you'll get a 3. Using this method, I was able to get exact rolls and fight specific bosses. Speaking of, which fights are the easiest? Well, there's number 2, the chips, number 3, the cigar, number 4, the dominoes, and number 8, the magic 8 ball. I really like that the bit where I'm showing the multiple Inkwell Hill bosses, and they each kind of have like a slice, because that would be helpful for like emerald locations or shortcuts or characters, any way you can break up the screen, right? So in here I kind of have vertical slices, but maybe like breaking it up into 4 little boxes or 8 boxes. If you stay patient, you'll beat both the devil and the game. Congrats. You know, it's funny. I remember buying Cuphead and thinking to myself, yeah, that's nice, but I'm never going to be able to beat it. And trust me, it is a lot of work. It takes time to memorize each fight, but I genuinely believe anyone can do it. Hopefully this video armed you with the knowledge to be able to beat Cuphead, and now you'll be able to appreciate other parts of the game, like the gorgeous animation and the beautiful soundtrack. I legitimately think Cuphead is a fantastic game, and I hope this video made it more accessible to more people. I'm Aiden of Blue Couch Productions, and I'm signing off. Bye-bye. The ending kind of serves two roles. Number 1, it's this like moment of encouragement. So I'm like, hey, you know, it's tough. It's not going to be easy, but you can do it. And the reward for you getting to the end of Cuphead is being able to enjoy the rest of the game. So it's encouragement and reward. In this part specifically for Sonic R, it is going to be sort of a love letter, you know, like the soundtrack, the visuals, all that sort of stuff, because I really want that to be a thing. We might even spend more time on that in the final video, just because I think the advice section is going to be shorter, potentially. Guys, I just beat Cuphead.
Fucking Cuphead? How about you get some real head? Get some bitches on your dick. Talking about Cagney Carnation? More like bitches manifestation, because you have none. There ain't nowhere. Come on now.
Fucking
shit.
Alright, cool. That's pretty much it. Exactly. This kind of gave me a framework to do the Sonic R video, which is what I was hoping for. And it also let me look back at the Cuphead video, kind of decide what I want to keep and what I want to throw out. I don't think the timer gimmick is going to make it in this one for sure. The green screen stuff, while cool, would be a bit of an issue technically. I think because this is the only mic I currently have. I kind of sold the wireless mics like a week or 2 ago. So I may just film the on-camera stuff here. Let me cross some of this out so I kind of know what I want to keep. Fast start, yeah. Premise within 30, absolutely. Timer gimmick, no. Scripted voiceover, yes. 3 tips categories. That's kind of what we have right now. However, I don't want to lock myself into it in case I get like other ideas for sure. So I'm going to hit X right now for that. Music from the game, absolutely. Each section ends with on-camera bits, yeah. First section finished at 2 minutes. Pretty quick pacing in general, yeah. Humor derived from making fun of myself, sure. In editing, highlight what matters, absolutely. Motion graphics, don't have to mention everything, yep. Zoom ins for emphasis. Record multiple playthroughs, slices. Ending serves two purposes for encouragement and the reward, yep. It could be, too, for like a Sonic R specific bit of humor. You know, there's moments where you're playing the game and something crazy happens. It's like, whoa, what the fuck, right? So it could be for the Sonic R video, we kind of change things up and we derive humor from the actual playthrough. And we do that a little bit with like the Cat Incarnation bit, like adding a little Tom and Jerry thing. But I think here we're going to have a lot of opportunities, especially if I do multiple characters, right? Some shenanigans are bound to happen. All right. So that's sort of a guideline. We'll have to see what else we can add to the formula, because right now it is taking a lot from the Cuphead video. I know one thing I really want to do, actually. Hold on. I have like a CRT TV that I could put videos on from my computer, and I want like a shot of Sonic R and like a slow zoom in for like vibes. Normally I do those at the beginning, but I think because of the fast pace, that would really slow down the video. So I think I'm gonna do at the end. Oh, another really cool idea for the CRT TV is breaking up the categories that way. So like each category has some like text on the screen and it like flickers on and off, maybe. That could be a cool little idea. So we'll have the on-camera stuff looking different. We'll have the CRT stuff looking different, but kind of keep the original sort of pacing and flow with a bit more appreciation shown toward Sonic R, because it's going to be a bit of a harder sell. I think Cuphead, the difficulty is like, man, oh, it's too difficult. But a lot of people already know the game's good. Sonic R, there's people who think the game's bad. So I got to do a little bit more explaining on like the why. Or else people are going to be like, I'm good. I don't have to play Sonic R. You should. It is the main Sonic Saturn game. And I got to make that point known. I'm going to leave these notes off to the side. So now that I've got some of the outline, some of the video specific stuff, I kind of want this next part to be about scripting. So thankfully, and this will save us a lot of time, I did a playthrough of Sonic R where I'm sort of describing all the tips and tricks that I'm using, sort of explaining everything as I played it. So I'm going to watch that video and write down some notes about what I have to include in the video. And from that list of bullet points, I can then just record voiceover for it over and over and over again until we get like a finalized version. But I got to go find that video. It might be a DaVinci Resolve timeline, actually. Sonic R, there it is. Okay. I'm going to hit play on that and start writing notes. All right. Welcome back, everybody. I'm sure I fast forwarded through a lot of that. Couple of things that I did write down after watching all of that footage, about like 50 minutes of it, which is nice. One, I'm thinking about doing like a controller cam. So as I'm playing, you're like watching my hands, like make a lot of the movements. I feel like that could be very helpful, just because there's a lot of extra buttons to press. Like, turns out I don't use accelerate. I'm like LR and then jump if I need to, and that's it otherwise. So that's pretty huge. Another thing I picked up, don't mess with the controls and mod them too much. There's a mod for acceleration that's on the sticks. Don't do that. Very cringe. Camera button's also not very useful. Pauses, whatever. Again, I'm action button to jump, left brake and right brake for tight turns, and then the sticks. And then I wrote a bunch of notes. 2 pages worth of notes, each with time codes is like when I say them, that kind of discuss strategy, how many rings you need for the emeralds specifically. The coin stuff, I'm gonna have to like pull up the maps on Strategy Wiki for sure. And then just general advice, how I play the game, the routes, making the 2 passes, all of that. And then some things that I mention as being fact, but that I'm probably going to have to actually test for sure. So I'll have to look into that, have to look into some of the wiki stuff to see what they ended up saying. But overall, for like an hour and 45 minutes, I've written visual notes on the Cuphead video, and how to make the Sonic R video has like made a lot more sense from a technical perspective now, which is lit. And then I have essentially an outline for a script with all the important information, coin locations, emerald locations, advice, all of that. These 3 pages can help me construct my video both visually as well as verbally. That's pretty cool. However, I think that'll do it for today. But this was just Sunday. So on Monday, I'll come back and record more of my behind the scenes process. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all on the second part. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.